Hi, I'm Steve Stewart with Southern Comfort Mechanical. Thank you for joining our webinar today on indoor air quality analysis. I wanted to give an overview of what an air analysis includes and what you can expect. In terms of the objectives for the webinar today, it's to explain what indoor air quality means, what it is, an overview of the air analysis itself that takes place in your home, and then to walk through a sample of the report or the output from the air analysis. In terms of indoor air quality, what does that mean? So it's also abbreviated to IAQ, but really it's a reference to the air inside your home. Over the years, as homes have got tighter to be more energy efficient, there are less drafts, and the air changes less frequently inside your home, which means that air gets recycled more, the air that we're breathing and living in the different rooms inside our home. What the air analysis does, it reviews, we say in particular, the particle sizes inside the air. It looks at the comfort levels, so the temperature and the humidity, values that you can get off a lot of thermostats these days, but it just looks at that in relation to the comfort zone. And then it looks at some of the gases in the air, in particular carbon dioxide and VOCs, or volatile organic compounds, that are inside our homes. In terms of signs that you may be having an issue, or you may want to get things looked at, so if you see things like pet dander building up, or dust on the grills, or dust bunnies that are floating around underneath the return grill, potentially in a hallway, or build-ups in certain areas. If you have odors, so if you cooked or barbecued 2 or 3 days ago, or fish, and that's still hanging around the air in your home and you can smell it in different areas, or if you have pets and you can still smell pet odors even though you may have cleaned things up weeks, maybe months ago, if that smell is still stuck in your home, that could be, we'll see, that air isn't getting circulated. And then I would say some of the impact from carbon dioxide being in your home is if you're getting headaches whenever you're at home, potentially you have high levels of carbon dioxide in your home. Also, another sign is that inability to concentrate. Typically, these come in at I would say fairly high levels, as we'll talk about in a moment, but it's just something else to consider as well. In terms of overview of an analysis in your home, so if you call us, get a technician scheduled out there, this is what you can expect whenever the technician gets there. There's our COVID protocol, so our technicians will be wearing face masks, gloves, shoe covers. Also, they take precautions here at the office as well. But really, that the purpose is to protect you and the technicians, so that I would say we're all keeping each other safe. The technician will ask you, where do you want to set up that analysis? It's typically an area where you spend a lot of time, so that could be a family room, a kitchen, a bedroom if you spend a lot of time in there, whatever that area that you feel is sort of representative of the air that you're breathing a lot of time whenever you're in your home. Technician then will set up the air analyzer. It's a small electronic device about the size of, we'll say, a coffee flask. You'll get that plugged in and switch it on and let it analyze the air in that area. That will run for 30 minutes to get a good sample of the air and representative. The technician then will, I would say, be able to pull up the results from that analysis and then walk through each of those particular points with you on a report that has a standard grading system built into the software. From there, they'll go through and they'll answer any questions that you have, any concerns that you have. If there's particular areas of concern, so if it's high carbon dioxide, if it's high particles, humidity, etc. The technician can walk through some potential options with you if it's okay, or if that's something that you wanted to get, we'll say, some more information on getting that potentially improved. The technician can walk through and get you some options on that. Next is, we'll say, sort of overview of the report that you get, and the technician will be walking through it. First couple of screens are that will say the direct data coming out from the report, and then there's a summary section at the end. Really, the top level here, the two indicators, or the dials, are showing the concentration of particles in the air. The top left is that particle count of 2.5 microns. On the right, it's that particle size of 10 microns, and that concentration that's in the air. Here it's per square meter. So that's just showing that here we have, we say, approximately one particle of 2.5 micron size per square meter, which is a low level in the green. Not a concern area in this example. Similar on the 10 micron particle size on the top right, not a concern in this one either. Here then, moving down, we have the volatile organic compounds, which in terms of this one, it's flagging at 600 plus parts per billion, which is considered, I would say, high on that action level, and I would say consider doing something about that. Then over on, we'll say that right hand side is in the yellow. That's the concentration of carbon dioxide in the air. I would say here it's 748 parts per million, which is sort of in that, we would say, okay, but getting towards that concern level. Below that, then we have a breakdown of the air temperature, which is, we'll say, 72.6 degrees in the example here. We'll say it's probably reflected on your thermostat as well, or if it's, we'll say, a distance from your thermostat, it may show something that's several degrees different, is something to compare against. The relative humidity level, so how humid does it feel in your home? So typically the target range for this is around about 50%. In this example, it's 40%, which is on that low end of the scale. We'll say around about 40% is whenever things like, we'll say, wood start to dry out, etc. On the other end of the scale, getting into that sort of 60 plus is a concern level on the other side, and will feel quite hot and humid, like being in parts of Florida or being out on a very hot, muggy day. I would say bottom left is the static pressure. So this is, I would say, looks at the pressure inside the home. We can compare that to outside pressure, so we can get a sense if, we say, the home is under negative pressure. So there's examples where whenever your system's running, I would say it can be, we say, creating negative pressure inside your home. Then I would say there's the comfort zone. So inside the blue box here is where we want to be. So in this example, there is the black circle here. So this is inside the comfort zone. Different people like it at different levels, but typically inside this blue box is where we want the comfort to be. Then this just is a plot of the actual temperature against the relative humidity inside the box. In terms then of getting to the actual output and looking at areas, so again we have the traffic lights, we say with green and yellow being, we say, okay, or things to consider. And once we get into the orange or the red levels, that's where we want to look at doing some improvement there. So here, just looking at the particle sizes, same example is these are considered good, that we don't need to take any action. Potentially, if these were in the orange or the red area, at that point we might want to dig in and see what that is. Is that, I would say, if it's the small particles, we may want to suggest looking inside your furnace and the condenser area. If you have a traditional system with that being in your attic, or maybe it's an air handler in your closet, or want to have potentially a look at the evaporator coil, see is there any buildup or particles on there. We can have a look then at the blower wheel, see if there's anything inside the furnace that might be built up in collection that's feeding that. Or is the filtration good? Is the filter that you have in the system adequate enough to remove the particles from the air? Similar with the larger particle size is, we say, is the filtration good enough? Potentially look at those areas. Is inside of the ductwork, would say, got buildup? Is there pet dander? Is it duct cleaning something that would improve that? Or is it some, I would say, air treatment that could be added in there in terms of a UV light to, I would say, go through, sanitize, and kill off some of those larger particle sizes so that they don't keep going back through your home. There's the humidity, temperatures we talked about inside the zone, the volatile organic compounds here. So this will come from cleaning products. If you've had a new carpet or paint, you can smell that odor in the air. That will come from, we'll say, the off-gassing or gases coming off that. We'll say hairspray, other chemical agents inside the home will do that. If they're not getting released, then it might be looking at the fresh air level. Do we need to bring in some more ventilation? Or on the other side of it, opening the doors and windows more frequently. But in Dallas, that's not a preferred solution. If it's, I would say, day after day of opening your windows up to vent that out. Similar on the carbon dioxide, if this is, we say, up over 1,000, I would say that's whenever sort of that cognitive impairment can come in. It affects different people in different ways. It depends how sensitive they are to that level in the air. That's something else that can be addressed with fresh air ventilation. I would say, assuming this is close to outdoor pressure, that would say it's not negative. If it was highly negative, then we would look at some sort of balancing between one room and another, or looking at fresh air again from the outdoor. So that's a summary of the sample report and some of the, we'll say, potential areas that can be taken to improve things on that front. In terms of, I would say, just moving to the final slide, how do you get one analyzed? We're trying to make it simple. So one is you can contact our team and we will get a technician scheduled. We can be reached via phone, also via text message on the same number, or you can log into our website at scmdfwair.com, and there you can, I would say, send us a note through our chat feature on the home page, or you can fill in a web form and we'll contact or email you back. So we work with whatever your preferred medium of contact is. We'll have the technician then visit you, run that report that we've just discussed, an analysis in your home, and go through any questions, concerns that you have. I would say get it taken care of or give you peace of mind one way or the other. And then 3 is allowing you to enjoy that air quality in your home. That's it. I'm Steve Stewart. Thanks for listening. All the best. Bye-bye.